Getting jacked doesn't just change your body, it changes your mindset as well, right? When you make that transformation from skinny to jacked, your mindset is going to change because you're not the same person, right? I'm always talking about this concept of recreating yourself. Recreate yourself into a character that commands attention, never bores the audience. And the first step to truly recreating yourself is putting on muscle. Not only building muscle, you're building a new identity, right? And your mind recognizes this, right? Because when you look in the mirror and you're 20 pounds heavier, straight muscle, your brain doesn't recognize you anymore. You become a different person. You're going to start to feel better about yourself, right? Because a lot of the time, like a lot of you guys saw, getting jacked will actually solve almost 90 to 80% of your problems. Because the average man these days is insecure. He doesn't like the way he looks, so he avoids mirrors. He avoids social interaction, so he has social anxiety. He doesn't feel good about himself, has such a low self-esteem because he doesn't have pride in himself, because he constantly breaks promises to himself, doesn't do what he says he's gonna do, feels depressed about it after, eats like shit, so then he feels like shit in the morning, goes to the same job that they hate every day. This is the reality for most men. And this might be the reality for you watching this right now, right? And I'm telling you that the easiest way to bypass some of this hardship is literally getting jacked. It will solve a lot of these issues, right? Because a lot of these issues get solved because when you look better, you're going to feel better. You're going to look yourself in the mirror. You're actually going to be proud of what you see, right? You're going to see the biceps hugging. You're going to see the chest. You're going to see the V taper. You're going to see the leanness, all this stuff. And it's going to make you feel better about yourself when you look into a mirror. It's going to make you feel better about yourself in interactions. When you walk into rooms, people are going to stop and stare at you, and it's going to give you a feedback loop. And you're going to see in your mind, you're going to be like, oh shit, like I actually am him because the world is starting to treat me like I'm him, right? And when I'm talking about getting jacked, I'm not saying you got to be Sam Sulek. I'm not saying you got to be like a Ronnie Coleman, roided out bodybuilder. I'm just saying a decent amount of muscle size to you, around 12 to 18% body fat, somewhere within that range, right? And with a decent amount of muscle size with a V taper, for example, like a Michael B. Jordan physique or a Chris Evans physique, right? I'm not saying you got to look exactly like them as well, but just like kind of inspiration, like where it looks like you lift, right? You're not big, you're not too big, and you got a decent amount of vascularity to you, right? And if you need help achieving this, you need help getting in shape and building a physique, and you're not really sure how, and you've been spinning the wheels and you've been stuck for a long time, hit that link in the description and we'll see if it makes sense to work together. A little shameless plug so that I can help you build the physique that actually commands attention, never bores the audience. So if that sounds like you, first link in the description, the first thing in the comment section, click down below and let's get started. Make sure you like this video and subscribe while you're at it. But like I was saying, I'm going to tell a little bit of my own story. You know, back before my fitness journey, I weighed 150 pounds. I'll put photos up on the screen so you can have an idea. But I remember being skinny, insecure about how I looked because I was just scrawny. I would avoid mirrors. I would feel insecure about wearing baggy t-shirts because the t-shirt sleeves outweighed my actual arms. Like my arms looked like noodle arms when I wore these t-shirt sleeves, right? And I would just avoid those t-shirts. I would avoid social interactions because I was just insecure about the way I looked. I had no presence to me. I'd walk into a room and I just felt invisible, right? I used to get roasted. I got flamed. I remember I used to wear tank tops like this when I was 150 pounds and I'd get roasted. People told me like, oh, you can't wear shirts like this unless you're jacked, right? I used to get flamed. You know, you're trying to do push-ups. People are laughing at you because you can barely do a push-up. I used to get tackled to the ground. You know, I used to feel weak. I used to feel like my presence didn't carry any weight to it. I didn't feel like anyone took me seriously. I was barely getting choosing signals from women. I was barely getting choosing signals at this time, right? Like I was completely invisible. Like I wasn't even showing up on the leaderboard, right? And mentally it was like kind of rough because it's like, man, like I just feel like kind of hopeless. I almost had like a bit of a fixed mindset, a black pill mindset, because this started to trickle into other areas of life. I used to not believe in myself that much, right? I used to think like, oh, like I'm not good at math. I'm not good at schoolwork, right? Because like I have this fixed mindset because of the way I looked and all that stuff. It trickles into other areas because I used to think this way in my academics. Okay, I'm not good at school. I'm not good at math. So maybe that means I won't get into university. Oh, like, you know, since I'm not good in this area, I probably will be broke forever, right? Like I'm probably never going to get a job or something like that, right? I used to have these very fixed mindsets, these very victimhood, very like black pill kind of mentality. I was black pill before black pill even became a thing, right? And so then when I actually hopped on my fitness journey and I actually got in shape, that's when I noticed the shift. I started because as my body began to grow, my biceps got bigger, my chest got bigger, the V taper started coming in, I started looking pretty jacked, right? As soon as that started to happen, that's when my mindset started to shift as well. That's when I started to think in a growth way of thinking, because as my biceps grew, my mind grew as well. I started to understand that, okay, if I can do this, if I can build this kind of transformation, I can do this in other areas of life, right? Because I built up competency. I was able to make a transformation, so therefore, logically, I'm like, okay, if I can make this transformation here, I can do this in other areas. So then I started to try harder in school, and I got the grades, you know. I started going out and applying for jobs, and I started getting more jobs and stuff. I started going out there and like doing shit, right? Try getting out of my comfort zone more, because I had the confidence to do so, because I made a transformation within myself, right? Because getting in shape and body game, it's really just putting points up on the board. Some of you guys just need to get those points up. You just need those easy layups to get the ball rolling, right? And you know, we're nearing the end of the year here, and it's 2025, and like a lot of guys out here are probably not in shape. You're watching this, you might be struggling right now. Now, you may be not where you want to be. Maybe you're not on your fitness journey. I'm here to tell you that fitness is like the first step to fixing your life. Like if you can get that straight, it starts to trickle, like everything else falls into place, because you start to think in a more growth mindset way of thinking. You're going to start to feel more motivated. You're going to feel more productive. You're going to hold yourself to a higher standard. And when you hold yourself to a higher standard, it's going to push you to actually go out and achieve more, because you have the competency, you have the proof that you're capable. And when you start to see yourself as a capable human being, you're going to start to see yourself as a capable human being in other domains of life. That's why it's so crucial. You need that small win. You need that proof that you're like worth it. You need that proof that you're him. You need undeniable proof that you can actually go out and achieve things. And that's what Bodygame did for me. And they can do the same thing for you, right? Fitness is that ultimate proof that you can actually change your life, because if you can change your body, you can change your mind, right? Because when you change your body, it's by default, your mind changes as well. And therefore you can change your life, right? Like I'm always talking about, you need to recreate yourself, because that old identity, that version of you that's low self-esteem, low confidence, he doesn't believe in himself, you know, he's shy in all these social interactions, he breaks promises to himself, he eats like shit, you know what I'm saying? Like doesn't get any choosing signals, invisible when he walks into a room. That version of yourself needs to die, right? 2025 is ending and 2026 is arriving. You need to kill that old version of yourself. You need to destroy that old version of yourself and build a new version of yourself. Build a version of yourself that commands attention and never bores the audience. A version of yourself that you actually are proud of. When you look into a mirror, you actually are happy with what you see. You shouldn't be insecure or feel like you were not meant to be put on this earth to do that. Why do you think I'm always saying in my videos, there's nothing enlightening about playing small, right? There's nothing enlightening about that. There's nothing enlightening about looking in the mirror and cringing. There's nothing enlightening about doing that. You might as well play big, be the best version of yourself, so that you can be proud of yourself, right? And you inspire others around you, right? Because you playing small, you being out of shape, you like not reaching your full potential, it doesn't do anything for you, and it doesn't do anything for society, right? But that's all I really have to say, man. If you're tired of the old you, you're tired of being insecure, you're tired of low self-esteem, you're tired of looking yourself in the mirror and you just don't feel happy with what you see, you're not being taken seriously, hit that link in the description. We'll see if it makes sense to work together so that we can help recreate you into your best self. Hit that link in the description so that we can help you build the physique that commands attention, never bores the audience. We'll have a little conversation and we'll see if it makes sense to work together. And if it does make sense to work together, we'll work on your mindset, we'll work on your nutrition, we'll work on your training plan, we'll work on all of these things so that you can be the best version of yourself. So if that sounds like you and you really want to change your life going into 2026, you want to build that momentum now, and you're really trying to get the ball rolling on this shit, and you're tired of being the old you, hit that link in the description. Either it's going to be the first link in the description or it's going to be the first thing in the comment section. Hit that link. Let's change your life. Let's do it. Make sure you like and subscribe. And remember, there's nothing enlightening about playing small. I'm going to catch y'all. See ya.